So today we're going to discuss obstacles. The reason why I'm laughing is because this is maybe the fifth attempt to make this video. And I've tried to remove a bunch of obstacles, but it just kept getting blocked, kept getting, interrupted. There was this, there was that. And I think in one of the shorts earlier this week, I talk about the ability to do it anyway, being a grand separator, being something that's going to separate those of us from the rest in 2026. Um, I did mention that this is a year of execution. Well, within that execution, you may run into some hiccups, you may run into some setbacks, you may run into things that cause whatever you do not to turn out perfect. And well, done beats perfect every time. I need us to realize that. I need us to live fully within that and understanding it, that done beats perfect every time. Meaning, if you have the perfect video that you've been working on for 10 years, and I've released 10,000 videos in those 10 years, I will destroy you. Even if your video does extremely well and better than all the videos that I've put out in that 10 years, I still have 10 years worth of videos. And so that's a certain level of rapport, that's a certain level of connection with the audience, that's a certain level of, and those types of things, man. It's like your supplier relationships. Those things are intangible, but they matter so much. There's always going to be a newer kid on the block with a fresher thing, a better idea, pays better, pays quicker, does whatever, and yet your supplier relationships will shine through oftentimes, and the reason for that is, or that is predicated upon how well you treat people. Generally speaking. So again, going back to the topic at hand, which is the ability to execute despite disruptors being there. It depends on a lot, including the execution within itself. You know, it depends on a lot, including understanding that disruptors are not the end. It comes with being willing to start over, start again. It comes with understanding that there are such things as two-way doors and one-way doors, says Jeff Bezos. A two-way door is a decision that you can make and unmake. Instagram made the decision to move the reels, put them in the feed and create their own tab, and that didn't work out. They undid it. Two-way door. One-way door, I made this thing. This is the Founders Five. Um, to be, I can't unmake it. I can't come through and say, no, this is the first time that we're, that's not real. And even if we say on a Tesla thing, okay, this is how we're going to design our Roadster. That's a one-way door. Why? Because we've designed it, we've brought it out to production, it is now produced. I can't unproduce it, and maybe it will be too expensive to unproduce it and reproduce another one. Maybe I do have the funds to unproduce it, but I can't reproduce another one. So that's a one-way door. That's like, okay, when we make this decision, we only have the means to execute on this. And that execution is what ultimately determines whether the decision was correct, and what we're going to do thereafter. Meaning, in those two-way door, one-way doors, you're going to run into situations where you may have to deliberate with someone, you may have to deliberate with yourself. And there was an original thing that you were trying to do, and there's a thing that you're trying to do now, from here on out, that is going to help you push the boundaries and get what you were trying to get done, right? So the thing that you're doing now versus the thing that you may have wanted to do, you may disagree with the current idea, but especially when you're working within groups, within teams, the principle of disagreeing and committing becomes very important. That I disagree and commit. You never want execution to be a limiting factor. You want the idea itself, the decision itself, to be the limiting factor, so you can go back and analyze that idea and perhaps pick a different idea. Um, which is, I think I can attribute at very least to having the greats to listen to, being able to listen to hours of podcasts of Jeff Bezos, being able to listen to hundreds of hours of Alex Hormozi, hundreds of hours of Patrick but David, if not thousands of both of those people for myself personally. Being able to listen to those people speaking in their spaces, making decisions in real time, talking, creating real business solutions, you get to understand, and the way that they've operated throughout their own businesses, throughout their own lives, leading up until this point, you learn something that's very important, which is not to be married to the idea, but rather to be married to the ultimate goal. Jeff Bezos talks about being uh, rigid, stiff, whatever with the result, but flexible with the idea. So it's you're rigid when it comes to the North Star and what it is that you're trying to achieve, but you're flexible with how we're going to achieve it exactly. You know, we're rigid with the destination, but flexible with the path there. I think those are all very, very important principles that are fundamental. They're fundamental, and they put you in the best position to succeed, because ultimately the best thing to do is to get there. The best thing to do is to continue on. That's the only option that we have ultimately. But the difference and the differentiator between the people who get there and the people who don't is the ability to do these things in sequence, one after the other. The ability to continue on, the ability to start again, the ability to uh, commit to a decision, the ability to disagree and commit to a decision. Um, Having those tools in your toolbox, knowing the right people to listen to over the correct amount of time, has a tendency to lead to success. I think it is very, very difficult to imagine a world where someone continues hitting on those marks and doesn't succeed eventually. You know, including the way that you treat people. You know, it's not just a binary thing. We love to look at the numbers, and we love to look at those things, and the way that they affect one another, their relationship with one another. But then I think it's also important to think about the relationship between people. Um, the relationship between yourself, your supplier, yourself, your team, yourself, your CMO, the CEO of your company, the say now you're just the founder and you have shares, you have stock, and someone else is actually running the thing. And you know, and I know we're talking in big large terms, and we're talking removed from what is happening now. So let's actually double tap and zoom in, because I know at this point in the video, a lot of people have tuned out. So we can actually talk about the real, which is right now we at Legacy Africa are looking to launch another line. Right, we launched the Founders Five. Founders Five launched successfully. You know, it's a thing. It exists. People have t-shirts in hands, and there is the one that I'm using here, and the a few that are going to come into play a little bit later. Hopefully later this month, or say early to mid next month. I'm still going to devise a plan on how we're going to introduce that we're more than apparel. I mean, we've already started whispering it. We've already, you know, more than apparel, more than apparel, more than apparel. That's an idea that I'm trying to get out there right now. And I'm trying to introduce, you know, the tools, the elements, the networks, the other things that are going to be involved in that in a fantastic way. And that's a one-way door. That's something that we can only go with once. We don't know what the right call is, but it's okay. Let's do this thing. And we agreed to do a thing, and we've already started on it. We've worked on it. The systems are ready. That, you know, it's one of those things where things move really quickly and you have to make fast decisions, because again, regardless, there's always the cost of the time. There's always the opportunity cost of the time and what you could have done in the time, and done beats perfect every time. So right now we're just trying to devise a plan to make sure that we're best prepared to get done. And when we're done, then we can iterate, we can grow, we can learn together, with the network of entrepreneurs that we are currently building, and make this thing incredible. And that only happens if you're able to get through disruption. You're able to remove blockers. You're able to effectively communicate, or even ineffectively communicate. But then you go out after, and you do your rounds. You fix whatever aches you've caused. You do what it takes. Number one, first and foremost, to get it done. And then after it's done, you can tweak it and get it closer and closer to that perfection that we all see. Thank you for watching, man. If you want one of these, link is in the bio. I've been Sage. Like the video, subscribe. Standing on business. Signing out.